Okay. All right. So we got this. Okay. All right. Good. Oh, hi. Hi. Okay. Yeah, I was just finishing my letter that I'm actually gonna mail to. I'm gonna mail it to the Philadelphia Phillies. I got it right over here. I can read you that letter if you want, but before I do that, actually, please hit the thumbs up button. Please hit that subscribe button. Turn on those notification bell icons. That way you'll know when we go live. We talk about the Phillies, the Sixers, and the Eagles on this channel. And I also apologize. I haven't really been coming out with a lot of Phillies content. There will be more of that through the coming weeks because guess what? Even though, say what you want about this team and the concerns that a lot of people have moving forward, we got to do what we got to do. We cover this team. People deserve to hear content on this channel in regards to the Phillies. That's like what everybody comes on here for. And I got to do more of that, and I hold myself accountable for that. But with that being said, enjoy the show. Let's talk about those fightings. So let me get this straight, okay? Last year's trade deadline, Austin Hayes and Tanner Banks were supposed to be the guys that got us to the World Series. Meanwhile, Lane Thomas goes to the Cleveland Guardians, gets them to the ALCS. Jazz Chisholm goes to the Yankees, helps them get over to the World Series. I didn't even want Jazz Chisholm, and I was wrong about Jazz. Brent Rooker stays, and Luis Robert Jr. stays too. They all stayed. And yet, here come the Phillies with Austin Hayes and Tanner Banks. And that leads them to a first-round exit against the New York Mets, who were Soto-less last year. What happens after that? The winter meetings come, and or as I like to call it, the winter sleeplings for the Philadelphia Phillies. And Kyle Tucker goes to the Cubs. Garrett Crochet is off the table. Juan Soto goes to the Mets. Willy Adames goes to the Giants. And all these other splashes are being made. Devin Williams goes to the Yankees. And the Phillies stay put. And they get Jordan Romano. Oh, yeah, I forgot to mention that. They get Jordan Romano. And I like Jordan Romano, don't get me wrong. But does Jordan Romano play right field? Does Jordan Romano play third base? Does he catch? Does he do all those things? Because I don't think he does. The last time I checked. What this team is selling you guys is junk. They think that it is totally fine to run everything back next year, including the coaching staff, including the players and the personnel. Every single person is coming back next year, except Jordan Romano is now added to the roster. That's unacceptable. You know, we all knew that after 2022, the goal was to get back to the World Series and win the damn thing. And for the last 2 years, this team has fallen short. And this year, they mightily failed. They did. They started off the season strong, and then when things took a dip, it went in a downward spiral, and it ended in a collapse. And you know, as a businessman, the one thing that I know with running my company is that if things are taking a turn for the downfall, you got to make changes. You can't just sit there and act like that everything's going to be fine and just hope that things take a turn for the better. No, you got to make changes. You got to come up with different types of game plans. That's what you got to do. That's how it goes. Guys, we lost to the Mets in the first round. We lost to the Mets. First time that we ever play the Mets in the playoffs, we lose. And they think that that's okay. The Mets. Unacceptable. I despise this team. That's why I wrote this letter. And I'll read it to you in just a little bit. But they lost to the Mets. And ever since they lost to the Mets, they brought back Rob Thompson. They brought back Kevin Long, the entire coaching staff. And they were okay with it. I thought Alec Bohm was going to get traded. I thought that they were going to try to go after Alex Bregman. And they still can, by the way. What's going on with this franchise? Where's that hunger? Where's that desire and that thirst to go out there and win a championship? I don't see it. I don't see it. And I'm usually a very positive person. But, you know, I got to call a spade a spade. And the spade right here is that this team is okay with being mediocre. And they're not willing to change. And, you know, the one thing I love about you guys is that we all are here to support one another, and we're all here to support this team. But we call things like it is. We don't hide. We don't hide from things. And this channel, while I love calling games on here, this channel is also supposed to be for you guys too. And I want to know down below, what has disappointed you the most during these winter meetings and during this whole entire offseason and over the last 2 years, ever since the NLCS collapse against the Arizona Diamondbacks? What has disappointed you the most? I'll tell you what's disappointed me the most. What's disappointed me the most is that this team is okay with just get into the playoffs and that's it. Let me ask you this before I get into reading this whole thing. With Juan Soto going to the Mets, with Blake Snell going to the Dodgers, with Ronald Acuna Jr. coming back, are the Phillies better than any of those three teams? Acuna, Harris, Riley, Olsen, Strider, Sale, and that pitching staff? The Braves are better. Mets have Lindor. They have Vientos. They now have Juan Soto. They got a couple other players too, along with Starlin Marte. They're better. Dodgers are going to get Tyler Glasnow back. They're also, I don't know if you guys heard of this guy. His name is Shohei Ohtani, but he's also going to be pitching next year too. They're better as well. Phillies aren't the favorites anymore. Everybody, it seems like, is catching up to the Phillies in the National League. And yet, their motto is, let's just stay still. How does that make you feel? Does that make you feel good? That doesn't make me feel good. And please, voice your opinions down below, because I would love to hear what you guys have to say. I just can't believe, and you know what's even funnier, man? Kyle Tucker goes to the Cubs. And yet we're still fine with just keeping the outfield like it is, man. Our small ball guys, Johan Rojas and Brandon Marsh and Bryson Stott, even though I like Bryson Stott, we're fine with sticking with them. Kyle Schwarber, I'm done with him batting in the leadoff spot. That has to change. A lot of things have to change. We need to get a catcher. JT Realmuto is getting older. And there's just so many other things, dude. I actually recorded this before, and I didn't even realize that my mic wasn't on. I'll be honest with you. So I'm not really as fired up, and I apologize about that. I really do. But damn, am I disappointed in this team, to say the least. Even the Padres are a better baseball team than the Philadelphia Phillies right now. Let's call it like it is. Even the San Diego Padres, the team that you beat in the NLCS 3 years ago, they're now better than you. Sad. Very sad. What do they need to improve on? I think that the first thing is that we got a clean house, and they're not going to do that. And now it's getting to the point where if they're settling for mediocrity, my science teacher said, if on your projects you give me bull crap, I'm going to give you a bull crap grade. They're giving us junk. We give them junk back. Because they deserve it. That's the truth. Let's get to this letter. You let me know down below how this sounds to you. Dear Dave Dombrowski, Rob Thompson, Caleb Cotham, Sam Fold, John Middleton, Kevin Long, the entire coaching staff, the front office, players, and the rest of the Phillies organization. I could have just put Phillies team or like dear entire Phillies organization. But you know me, I like to call out people. And I like to be more specific. When somebody holds me accountable, I don't want them to just say, Dear Play-by-Play with JJ Productions. I want them to call me out by my name. I hope this message finds you well. Before I begin, let me introduce myself. I cover all of your organization's baseball games on my YouTube channel called Play-by-Play with JJ. I went to school for sports broadcasting, interned at NFL Films, called games for the Wilmington Blue Rocks and for the Delaware Bluecoats. And instead of moving away after graduating from college at Rowan University, I took a risk and started my own channel where I passionately cover your team and other Philadelphia sports teams as well. I created this channel because there are fans who, A, have moved out of the market and lack accessibility to tune into your games, B, can't afford to attend or access cable or radio broadcasts and come on over here to tune into the games, or C, want to sync the TV to the game, to the audio feed, and become a part of a community where they can interact live. Sorry, I stumbled on that. These fans are dedicated to your team, and their numbers are growing every season. Last year, we started off with 15 concurrent viewers in April during the 2023 season, and this season we grew to 225 concurrent viewers from August up until the end of the season. On behalf of these fans, I want to express their shared disappointment in how this past season ended and their concerns about the team's future moving forward. It's been tough watching the struggles on the field, especially when expectations and goals were so much higher. Since the end of 2022, we all knew where the bar was set. Yet for the past 2 years, we've failed to reach that level again and again and again. While it's easy to play the blame game or point fingers, let's not forget one thing. The sellouts during the regular season and playoffs, as well as the high TV, radio, and streaming ratings, were all driven by your customers, a.k.a. the fans. The passionate, blue-collar fans who love your baseball team. Their energy and dedication have kept the Phillies in the national spotlight these past 2 years. Why do you think Major League Baseball's ratings went up during the playoffs? Their passion deserves to be matched with strong leadership and strategic decisions. Fans love the Fightins. I love the Fightins. Many of us invest countless hours watching all 162 plus games, pouring our time and energy into this team. Each game should be a source of hope and excitement, but it's been hard to maintain that enthusiasm when postseason losses have become the outcome. Look, there are many points we can discuss. We can talk about decisions at last year's trade deadline. We can talk about analytical approaches, base running, and managerial strategies. We can talk about hitting, fielding, and roster construction, and even bullpen pitching. We can talk about the recent lack of activity in what has been an active offseason league-wide, and yet not much has been going on with your organization. We can talk about critical moments in the NLDS and the midseason struggles in July and August. We can talk about all that, man. We can. While I won't point fingers in this letter, I will say this. Seats will start to empty if the product on the field doesn't lead to winning and reaching the finish line. Money talks, but as I like to say, once the fans are fuming, the money gets muted. Once the fans are fuming, the money gets muted. So what do the fans want? What could they possibly want? One word. Transparency. They want their voices to be heard. You want them to show up next year? You listen to them. Provide transparency through press conferences, post-game interviews, podcasts, or written pieces, and let them know that they matter too. Because at the end of the day, it's not just your ball club. It's their ball club, too. Citizens Bank Park is not just owned by the Philadelphia Phillies, but the Philadelphia Phillies are also owned by the fans as well. Engaging with the fan base can strengthen their bond with the team and foster greater dedication. Acknowledging their concerns and sharing your vision can reignite their passion and create a supportive environment, which will in turn benefit the business side of the organization. I personally appreciate the hard work involved in managing a professional baseball team. I hope that this feedback is taken as constructive criticism coming from a place of love for this organization. I want to help get more quote-unquote Philly freaks on board with not just your team, but with the other teams around Philadelphia as well. I look forward to the changes ahead and hope to see a renewed spirit in the team as we move forward together. Thank you for your time and efforts in leading the Phillies. Now let's go get our bleeping trophy back next year. With love, JJ. And I also put in the letter P.S. You're welcome to check out Play by Play with JJ on YouTube to see the calls that we've done for Phillies, Sixers, and Eagles games. Because that's what we do on here, man. look, I may not speak for everybody, but not a lot of people would take the time to do this. But guess what? In Monsters Inc., they say we scared because we care. We watch. And you know what? We watch because we care. We actually stare at our TV because we care. We don't scare because we care. We stare because we care. That was maybe bad, but that's okay. All right, let me know what your thoughts are down below on this baseball team. I'm disgusted with them. I'm pretty annoyed and mad and angry. I'm actually more so angry at this baseball team than I am with the Philadelphia 76ers. But at least we got the Birds. All right, love you all to death. I'll catch you all in the next one. I do also want to apologize for not putting out as much Phillies content as I should be doing. Don't you worry. There's going to be more starting next week. And I do mean that because guess what? We cover the Phillies on here. And I noticed that a lot of people, like you guys, have told me specifically, you love it when we cover the Phillies on here. You ask and you shall receive. This is your channel too. All right, love you all. And I will catch you all on the next one. See you soon.